I don't think I am prone to stress.
Oh, I think I do get stressed.
An outward appearance of being laid back.
Stressed.
Laid back, I would say.
Pretty stressed.
I wouldn't say laid back.
Prone to stress.
Don't act surprised, you know exactly what you did.
Is there nothing out of this group of people, there's nothing that you want to know?
Go and stand outside. I'll call you back in when you're actually going to be quiet.
In January 2007, King's Langley Secondary School served as a unique laboratory to explore stress trigger points in 8 volunteers, none of whom had previously shown signs of high anxiety. But how can scientifically pinpointing their moments of maximum stress help us all handle stress better?
In order for, I think, teachers to understand about their own kind of stress levels and the sources of their stress, it's really important to be able to identify with other people. Contextualizing it within a school, I think, is a good way of doing it. You're developing personalities, you'll be able to identify with a particular person's problem. That will help you to understand your own behavior and what you can do about it.
Only by knowing its causes can we learn how best to handle stress. And to do that, we needed to measure accurately why, when and how stress occurs.
Brendan, I'm this close to sending you out. Stop throwing that.
So we monitored our teachers' heart and respiration rates and their blood pressure. We also checked their DNA for genetic predisposition for anxiety.
He has the hardy anxious resistant genotype. He is the CC type, which would indicate that they're unlikely to experience anxiety.
And the entire school filled in 2 lengthy questionnaires.
Everything you say on the questionnaire and any physiological results you consent to give are entirely anonymous.
Armed with this new information, we then asked top psychologists to guide us through ways of recognising and then conquering stress in our new 4-part series.
Some people are psychologically fitter than others, just like some people have better genetic constitutions than other people. And the key thing is, you know, what does that mean? What's its implication?
Everybody's different, so what might cause me stress might not cause someone else stress, and what causes them stress would perhaps not cause a third person stress. So it's about understanding what are your own triggers, first of all, and then understanding how the kind of things that help you as an individual manage stress best.
Why did different teachers respond differently to stress within the same school? Eavesdropping on the teachers were a group of scientists who interpreted the data provided by a range of cutting-edge monitoring equipment, including an intelligent vest.
As you can see, it's basically a lycra vest. And what's remarkable about it is that the sensors are actually woven into the fabric. So she can't actually feel that she's wearing anything other than a vest. The only thing to indicate that it's anything different is this one single wire that comes out the bottom of it.
And what information do we get from the vest?
For us today, it's collecting an ECG trace, that's her heart rate, and also measuring her respiration, how deep she's breathing and how often she's breathing.
And all that information is being beamed from Karen's hip pack back to a computer?
That's right. In real time, we can see right now what her heart rate is and her respiration rate as well.
Frequently, the vest recorded a heart rate consistently well over 100, a rate which should only be reached when exercising vigorously. This revealed that some teachers were not quite as calm as they appeared on the surface.
I didn't realise just how much I react to certain students, and the heart monitor picked up on the fact that my heart rate sort of went quite high when I was faced with particular students.
Not much there, has to be said.
How much are we meant to do?
About 2 pages.
2 pages?
Sorry?
I mean, oh dear.
The sort of tests that reveal a pressure point or a moment in the day that has been particularly stressful can be really useful to people, because so often if you are in a stressful situation, you're so caught up in the situation that you're not thinking about the impact that it's having on you and you physiologically or psychologically. So to get that sort of feedback is quite powerful for people.
So, how did the data from the vest as regards heart and respiration rates teach us to handle stress better?
I think it's important to do physiological measures of stress because the outside public think it's a very soft, fuzzy issue. And what we have to do, I think, is demonstrate to them that actually stress affects you not only psychologically, but physically as well.
Our guinea pigs were also wired up to an ambulatory blood pressure gauge. It automatically took readings every 15 minutes, and these were then interpreted by psychologist Dr. Nadia Wager.
We'd like to sit back to here. At 11 o'clock, was that break time?
That was when I was calling the parent.
Ah, there you go. But that's really interesting, how high it can go at that point, in comparison to what you were when we first started, which is, it sounds like it's more like your normal blood pressure.
The stress reaction can lead to high blood pressure because what you're trying to do when you're in a stress reaction is get as much blood flowing around the system as possible because you want as much energy to deal with whatever threat it might be. So that will then put your blood pressure up. And of course, if that's happening over a long period of time, that you may get sustained higher blood pressure.
Is blood pressure something that can change from minute to minute? Is it quite responsive?
It's very, very responsive. So if you've had quite a strong emotion, something that's made you very angry, it will actually take you about 25 minutes for it to actually return to baseline. So it will leave sort of a residue. And if you then think about the anger-provoking event again, unfortunately blood pressure will raise again.
Right, okay, so yeah, it's very responsive by the sounds of things. Oh, stop!
The study revealed that 4 of the 7 teachers under observation had acute rises in blood pressure during their teaching periods, although some of them also had dramatic drops during their breaks. Concerned at what she had learnt about her blood pressure levels, 28-year-old media studies teacher Liz Shipp visited her doctor to find out whether she was failing to handle the stress she was facing in the classroom.
Right, boys, come on, we've got to do this one now.
Because I did feel like I was very anxious and actually got diagnosed with quite severe anxiety, so yes. But they wanted to take me off work for 2 days, which I told them, 2 weeks rather, which I told them wouldn't actually help with the anxiety, it would just probably make it worse.
Frequently when somebody is feeling stressed, they'll go to their GP and the GP will say take a week or 2 off from work. Sometimes that's useful for you because it gives you some kind of reflection time on what your problems are and how you might approach it. And sometimes it makes the problem even worse.
Right, we need a piece of card.
Deciding to carry on regardless can be the right decision, but beyond a certain point, trying to handle stress without help may be counterproductive.
If you try to go on and on and on and work your way through it, you may actually be doing further damage. And quite often, at the point at which you're stressed to the level it's affecting your health, you're actually then not being effective in the workplace.
Music teacher Emily Creed had low blood pressure before going into teaching, but within a year, she's now showing signs of hypertension. So what can young teachers like Emily do to improve their handling of stress?
And to do that,
I make sure every weekend I give myself 1 day off where I don't do work, and I think that's really important because as a teacher you can always do more. You can always just do a little bit more planning or do a little bit more resources. So I think it's important to always give yourself 1 day that you can say, I'm doing nothing on this day.
Whatever the cause, exercise and diet can generally help to reduce the stress toll. As part of improving well-being, during the How Stressed Is Your School week, Liz Shipp received some healthy eating advice from nutritionist Sally Gordon.
Now what we do at the beginning of the day can often determine our energy levels and how we're going to feel at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know where this is going.
I know where this is going. I don't have breakfast.
You don't have any breakfast. In fact, you don't actually eat anything until 12:30.
The reason why I don't have something first thing in the morning is it makes me feel sort of nauseous.
Having spoken to the nutritionist, I've been making sure that I have breakfast. I'm a good little girl now, I have breakfast. Although, on the downside, I don't always think too much about lunch so much now, which is obviously a negative on that, but because I feel that I can keep going. So I don't feel the hunger that I need to have lunch.
Diet can really help. Certainly having a poor diet makes you more susceptible to stress, particularly if you eat a lot of refined carbohydrates. So that's all the biscuits and the cakes and the sweets.
As in so many schools, King's Langley teachers were stressed by lack of resources and computer waywardness and non-availability.
I'll have a look in a minute. Right, done it? Right, go to my computer.
She's obviously having a trouble there with her computers and trying to sort something out. And look, her heart rate's gone shooting up there.
Yes, that's awfully high, isn't it?
Yes.
That's something that might be unsettling.
I should think she's very worried there. Oh, it's not working. You know what you get like with your computer?
Yeah, definitely. On top of everything else, you don't need IT hassle.
To help his staff handle their stress levels, head teacher Gary Lewis has splashed out on some new IT.
We have now purchased every teacher at the school a laptop. And if I could have ever, turn back the clock, I would have found the money a year ago from somewhere, having seen the reaction on the part of the staff.
It's fantastic. It has made our lives so much easier because we don't have to queue up to use the ones in the staff room. We can plan our lessons on them. We can use projectors. It's fantastic.
Getting a new laptop isn't exciting and life-changing. It's just a pain because I've got to transfer all the documentation off my old one. And also I've got to load up my train driver simulator, and that's going to take me quite a long time.
So, aside from pretending to be train drivers, how do some of the staff let off steam?
I actually live with another teacher at this school, so we kind of de-stress by offloading onto each other a bit.
We talk about our days, and even that in itself is a big help.
De-stressing, I like it when I can say, that's it, enough is enough for today.
I try to get to the gym at least 3 times a week. People have said to me, how do you fit in the time? Well, I fit in the time because I know that the benefits to me are enormous, even if it's just simply the fact that I will sleep better because of it.
Support staff's ability to handle stress was also examined during the week spent at King's Langley. By wearing one of our pedometers, caretaker Graham Locke discovered he walked a minimum of 8 miles every working day.
It's a massive site, a huge site. It's got bigger over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. And it's very hard to cover all areas. I went to the head, spoke to him, and it was fantastic really, because I think he realised that we do need an extra pair of hands on board. So obviously someone else is going to be coming onto the site. It's going to cut my work down considerably really, and I should only be travelling 6 miles a day.
Graham changed his life by asking for more help, but that isn't always easy to do.
Quite a lot of people are under stress, particularly in the education sector. Don't own up to it. Don't tell their head or whoever that they're not coping and that they need support. It is really important for somebody who has overload or problems to make sure that their line manager, their head, whoever it is, knows about it.
After some careful introspection and positive action, King's Langley School is today a less stressful place. But what about you? What can you do to beat stress?
You've got to do something different. That's the key. Do something different. Echo that phrase in your head. If you want something to be different, do something different.
The key thing when you're going to handle stress is to be able to seek support when you need it.
I think what is almost fundamental and probably one of the most important aspects of managing stress is to, number one, own up to your problem, seek social support, express your feelings about it, and don't internalize it.
For more tips on how to reduce stress through simple yoga and 5-minute break time relaxation exercises, look up our resource page on our website, teachers.tv/stress.